Hello, everybody. It's Melissa from Song of My Heart Studios in Watertown, Wisconsin. How are you doing today? I have had a fun day at the studio making Christmas cards like crazy. And I just got to play a little bit with a new fancy fold, and I wanted to make it with you guys before I leave for tonight and have to go, do real stuff like make dinner for the family and uh, duty waits for no man, right? But anyway, this card is so fun. You're going to love it. And it looks complicated, but the pieces are super easy. And I called it the double flip fold because it flips open one way and then flips open again. So you have a double flip. And it's kind of fun. It's sort of based on what we used to call the joy fold card. Which is a similar concept. That one just had this piece that would fold over the top, and it's pretty, but this is a little different from that, but the concept is similar. If you've made one of those before, you'll find this one pretty easy. I'm using two different stamp sets tonight. The first one is Elegantly Said, and I'm just using the sentiments from that, and then Painted Poppies is where I'm getting my flowers from. So we've got black and white color combo here with a little bit of gold, and the papers I'm using are from a Hostess exclusive paper pack, and I believe it's called Pattern Party, and they're 12 by 12 sheets, and they're super colorful patterns on one side, and the back sides are all just black and white patterns, so you can either add color if you want or use them black and white, which is how I usually use them because I love monochromatic cards. I think they look so elegant. But you can use any papers and stamps you have at home, and you're going to be making all sorts of variations of this because it's such a fun fold to make. All right, it's going to take about a whole sheet of cardstock, so just be prepared that this is a little bit thicker card here. It's got several folds, and it takes a little more cardstock. So this is for your special friends, right? The card base itself is 8 1/4 inches wide, so it's just like the bottom of a sheet of 8.5 by 11, but it's a 1/4 inch shorter, so 8 1/4 by 4 1/4. Okay, so easy enough there. And then you score that at, let's see, I scored it from this way, 5.5 inches. So if you remember, 5.5 by 4 1/4 is your card base that fits in a regular size medium envelope. So that's why we needed to score it at the 5.5 mark. So that gives us our card base, 8 1/4, 4 1/4, scored at a 5.5, and that gives us our regular card base here. Whoops, I didn't secure my ribbon good enough, and it is going AWOL on me. All right, so that's our base. And then the inside card, the second flip, is a long skinny piece that is 10 inches long. So it's like your 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock, only 1 inch is trimmed off the end. So it's 10 inches long by 3.5 inches. And that is going to get scored at 5 inches so that it folds nicely in half. I need to move my cutting blade out of the way so I don't accidentally cut my piece in half. I'm going to use my scoring blade. Okay, and that will fold in half to give us the second part of our flip, our double flip. Okay, so that was easy, right? So you can start to see how it's coming together. We got a flip here, and we got a flip here. And now we need our focal point piece. And this is an easy measurement again as well. It is 4 1/4 inches, so half of a 8.5 by 11 sheet cut vertically. 4 1/4 by, oh, I just forgot. Hang on one second. 2 3/4. Okay, so if you do a lot of paper cutting, you'll know that anything with 2 3/4 is a great measurement for 8.5 by 11 cardstock. Because it just is. Sometime I need to demonstrate that for you guys. It's amazing. I don't even like math, and I love the way the math of paper cutting works out. Fractions are about as far as I got in math. So Anyway, that's our last piece, 4 1/4 by 2 3/4. I should make a video on that because not everybody likes fractions, right? And we all need help with paper cutting. So then we're going to have some decorative pieces here before we start gluing it all together. So the background of our card is your very typical 4 inches by 5 1/4. So it's the size of the card base, step down 1 step. We call that a step down. So I'm going to glue that on. And you leave an equal margins on all 4 sides. It's already cute. I'm sorry. It's polka dots. Polka dots are already adorable. All right, then we've got this piece, and it's our interior flip fold here, and that is going to be perfectly centered on our background. It's too bad it covers up so much of the polka dots, right? So I'm going to put adhesive on that. And center it. Could have been a little higher there, but it's good. It's good. And then the pattern paper piece for this is 4 inches. Nope, I'm sorry, 4 3/4 inches by 3 1/4. So it's 1 step down from our flip fold card here. 1 step down would be 4 3/4 by 3 1/4. I'm going to put all these measurements on my blog, so you don't have to worry about writing them down or pausing the video and going back to look for them. They will all be together on my blog and in my next newsletter. So make sure you're a subscriber for that. Okay, we have one other place where we're going to put some pattern paper, and this one's easy. It's just 2 1/2 by 4 inches. And again, that's just 1 step down from the size of the cardstock, so it leaves a beautiful border around the whole thing. Love this paper. Okay, and then we have our little focal point piece, and that is actually just going to get a plain piece of black cardstock. When I started mixing all these patterns together, it just got to be a little much with the black and white patterns, so I ended up doing just a plain solid black for that piece. Sweet! And that is going to get attached to your card base with some dimensionals. I only have little ones here, so I'm going to use several of them. Make sure when you go to adhere this piece that you're only attaching the left-hand side to this flap, because if you attach it on both sides, you literally have glued your card shut. That might be funny to watch your recipients try to open that, but it would be aggravating for them, so let's not do that. Okay, and again, that's centered. So we've got layers of centered pieces here. So pretty. All right, that's the basic card fold. That's all there is to it. Double flip fold, and then we're going to do some decorating. I should have also mentioned when you do the folds to make sure you burnish them really well with a bone folder, and that will help the card lay flatter and stay closed, because it's got so many layers it might want to open by itself, but we need it to stay closed, right? Okay, I already stamped the sentiment from Elegantly Said, and I love this sentiment. It says, "True love stories last forever." So beautifully appropriate for weddings, anniversaries, or honestly even sympathy cards too, when a spouse has passed away. And then I have already stamped and cut out some of the poppies from the Painted Poppies stamp set. I just love these images. This is not a new set, but it's a classic, definitely. So let's see, how did I do that? I just made this card a minute ago, but I've already forgotten how I put it together. That never happens to you guys, I'm sure. All right, so we're just bringing out the floral design from the paper. It's not actually the same flower, but it's close. And in black and white, they match well enough. And then some of the little flower. So pretty. And actually, before I stuck that down, I should have used my little twist of ribbon here. What do they call this ribbon? Shimmer ribbon. It is gold metallic, like a light champagne gold, and I've been using it on Christmas cards. It's great with this black and white card too. I'm going to stick one more baby dimensional back there to make sure that stays in place. All right, and then I really like the way the inside of this turned out, so let's stamp that together. Are we all on screen? We are. Okay, so I've got my card open, and yes, normally you should stamp this before you assemble it. That would have been intelligent. So I might skip this stamping right here because this is too bumpy now to do that. So bummer that I didn't remember that earlier, huh? All right, and I am just going to stamp the poppies across the bottom here. And normally I would stamp them right there as well. Okay, let's see if we can get away with stamping this other sentiment over here. This is pretty bumpy. You know what, just for different, and just because I don't want to stamp on a bumpy surface, I'm going to stamp that over here. All right, and then, just because we can, I have more flowers. You never run out of flowers when you buy a stamp set because you can make as many as you need in any color you want. Stamps are so economical. All right. Oops. There we go. So you can just attach the extra flowers to kind of decorate the different panels. And then one last tip for you here before we're finished. This is just a really nice touch, and it echoes the champagne colored ribbon. There's a little bit of champagne gold colored foil cardstock that I punched out, just a slim punch, and created a little kind of a grip for the interior card, and that is a cue to them that that's where it opens. So that's kind of a nice thing. You don't want the recipient wondering how the card opens, right? And not realizing that there's another panel. So you just put them back to back with the interior card wedged between them, and it adds just a beautiful metallic handle for the interior flip there. All right, what do you think? A little more complicated than I might normally share, but it's not difficult once you get the idea of the folds and which direction they flip. And I will put all those measurements on my blog along with a link to this video so you can watch it anytime. And of course, make sure you're a newsletter subscriber because that's where all the good stuff is. Let me know if I can help you with anything. I would be thrilled to send you a catalog. It's totally free, and I pay for priority mail shipping, so the catalog will get there very quickly, and you will just be agog at all the amazing things that Stampin' Up! Has to offer, especially if you haven't seen us for a while. We are, wow, very trendy and up to date now for sure. So thanks for stamping with me this afternoon, you guys. Now I gotta go make dinner. Oh, can you help me with ideas? Leave me a comment and let me know what you're having for dinner, and maybe that'll spark my imagination too. Bye, everybody.